Hey team, it's Travis. This is a video involving consultations. It's an integral part of the whole process. This is often a huge part of the process by which a client determines whether or not they want to use our firm. There's plenty of firms in the area that they could go and choose from. However, we want them to feel comfortable. We want them to feel like we're aggressive and solid and compassionate when it comes to our advocacy. So we're going to run through a mock consultation here shortly, but I wanted to provide you a few different whys. And you should have a checklist in front of you with regards to some of the different things you'll be looking for. And as we go through the consultation, I'll ask you to check off as we go. First, thank them for considering us for their legal needs. These people are going through some of the most difficult and challenging times in their lives. We need to be sympathetic and compassionate and understand they could choose a lot of different other law firms to go with. And so thanking them and expressing gratitude is a huge thing that needs to be part of the consultation process. So leading with that is a great thing. Second, indicate it's an attorney-client conversation and everything is confidential and privileged. That gives them some level of security and safety, and is what they're providing during this consultation isn't going to go outside of this consultation. Not everybody understands attorney-client privilege, specifically lay people. So giving them that understanding of what an attorney-client conversation is and that it's confidential and privileged is essential to really building rapport and making them feel safe in the things that they're going to say. Three, I always say, I ask them what's going on. It provides them the opportunity to let loose. Most people who are coming in for a consultation, they're dealing with some very stressful times and they're just waiting to let go of what they're dealing with and express what they're saying and try to feel heard and understood. And so this is a first opportunity for them to do so. That's why I always let them lead with what they're talking about. Four, express empathy for their situation. I often say, I'm sorry you're having to deal with this. They're dealing with very difficult situations, very challenging times, and somebody probably hasn't even told them that they're sorry and express empathy for what they're going through. And so this may be the very first time someone really feels heard and understood and empathized with. Five, listen to what they have to say until they basically finish speaking before asking questions. Again, they're letting go of a lot of stress, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. They need to let that go a bit before you even start to engage in questions. This isn't an opportunity for you to just jump in and sell them on legal services. This is an opportunity for you to hear them and understand them and see if we can help them out. Six, once they finish speaking, and you'll know when they're finished speaking, they'll basically come into kind of a slow, conclusion, or they stop talking, then you'll know that it's time to maybe ask a few questions. And I always ask for permission to ask questions. So number 6 is, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? And that gives you permission to start asking some questions, because again, they're dealing with some very difficult and challenging times. You're asking them very stressful questions, and if you give them some power, some opportunity to have and a permission, it goes a long way. Sometimes, you're asking a few questions. Those questions are probably related to statute of limitations, jurisdiction, those type of things, just to make sure that one, it's something we can help them with, and two, it's within our practice area, which is the big keys. When we're doing consultations, we don't need to get every single fact that there is, because you're never going to get all the facts. A lot of facts are going to come out later. The client is going to have their own perspective of what happened. So you just need to get enough to know that we have jurisdiction and then we can help them out. And so anything over and above that, don't overly worry about it. It's going to come out later on anyway. So while you're doing that, you have the opportunity to communicate how long you've been doing this. So I often say, I've seen this before, or this is an unfortunate thing I've seen before. I've been doing this for 17 years, and I'm sorry you're having to deal with this. Number 8, gather information, build rapport. You're wanting to, again, you're gathering information. You're not here to pitch them. You're not here to do anything. If they're interested in moving forward, they'll let you know. They don't want to be overpowered, and we don't want to leverage people and force them into a sale or retaining us. We want them to feel comfortable doing so. And that often will include the rapport, includes matching and mirroring both language, and you may see me do that, as well as some of the body language that I'll be using as well. 9, give them credit for handling the situation so well. Again, these people are dealing with a very challenging situation. I'll often say, I give you a lot of credit for handling this so well. You're handling this very well. It's a very stressful time. I can't believe that you're handling it so well. Because a lot of them are dealing with almost life and death type of situations, at least in their mind. Number 10, and then once we've kind of gone through everything, that's when we give them their 3 options. Oftentimes in a divorce, it'll be like, so I'll just say, you at least have 3 options. 1, do nothing. 2, handle the divorce on your own, or 3, hire an attorney such as ourselves, and then we'll help you out. After that, and if they indicate they wanted to move forward, they have questions about representation, that's when I typically say, we require a representation agreement and a retainer deposit of $5,000 or $7,500 or whatever that amount is that is the suggested retainer. And then allow them, and then once I say that, I allow them to speak as opposed to what we call walking over the ask. And so you don't fill the air after the ask with that. And then indicate that the intake will be following up them and ask them if they have any questions. So that's the why behind everything regarding consultations for what you'll see here. So if you have the checklist, that's great. Ask for you as you're watching this video to watch the consultation and to mark it off as we go, and see if you're able to follow it. So thank you. Hi, I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. I'm Jade.
Nice to meet you. Thanks so much for coming in. I'm sorry you're having to come in under this situation. Thanks for contacting us, and thanks for coming in. It's attorney-client conversation. Everything is confidential and privileged, and just wanted to, I saw some of the notes in the consultation from the intake, but wanted to, hear directly from you. So what do you got going on?
Of course. So I'm going through the process of divorce. Yeah, I have, we've been married for 10 years, have 2 kids, have a house together, cars, retirement plans, so everything that we've had, built over the past 10 years. And, now he's filed for divorce. And unfortunately, I just don't know what to do next. I don't have any family. I want to take care of my kids. So I'm just really trying to see what I need to do next.
Yeah, and I'm so sorry you're having to deal with this, and it's got to be very stressful, and I give you a lot of credit for handling it as well as you have, because some people just, crawl under a rock and just not want to deal with it. So
yeah, it's been very difficult. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Of course.
First, how long have you been married?
10 years.
Okay. And you've been in Florida for over 6 months?
Yes, we moved here about 5 years ago.
Okay. And have you had an opportunity to try therapy or any type of way to reconcile or anything? Or how's that going?
We did try to do couples counseling, marriage counseling, and unfortunately we only did a couple of sessions. He doesn't want to continue with it, and unfortunately we tried, but I have to respect his decision since he has filed, and we just unfortunately can't move forward.
Jeez. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's really tough. And like I said, I give you a lot of credit for handling it. Have you discussed like an agreement or how you're going to split things up, or because I've been doing this for 17 years now. Sometimes you can work things out on the front end and it makes it a lot easier, but other times it's not, and but have you guys been able to work anything out at all? Or?
Unfortunately not. That's where we're kind of butting heads on that. With the house, he wants to sell, and I don't. I want to stay there with the kids. Sure. So it's an easy transition for them. But he wants to sell the house so we can have the money from that and be able to, split and have him move. Unfortunately, again, I don't want to do that. So, yeah, I want to be able to see what I can do about keeping the house.
Okay, and I guess, and you have been served with the papers already? Or?
Yes, have been served, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that's usually a stressful situation as well. Yeah, I mean, kind of the way I see it, you have 3 options. One, you do nothing. If you do nothing, then, he served you with the papers, he'll get a default against you after 20 days of service, he'll get a default final judgment, he'll get everything he wants in the divorce. Option 2, you handle it yourself, you represent yourself, you handle the mediation, the hearing, the trial, the filings, everything else. Or option 3, you hire an attorney such as ourselves, then we help guide you through it, advocate on your behalf, and make sure that you're well taken care of.
Okay. How long do you think the divorce process is with something like this?
It's a great question. It can be done in as soon as about a month if you guys have worked everything out. That's kind of why I asked you if things have been discussed at all. Or unfortunately, I've seen it take years at times. So it can be challenging because and that's the part of it is on one hand we want to get you through it as quickly as we possibly can. On the other hand, we don't want to roll over and just have something that you're going to regret for a long period of time. So it's it's important to make sure that you're doing it. And like I said, I've been doing this for 17 years, and unfortunately, far too often I've seen somebody come back after the divorce and say, "Oh, I wish I hadn't agreed to that," or "I gave up too easy on this." And oftentimes, by that point, it's very difficult to rewrite things.
Sure.
So it's important to get it.
And I'm a stay-at-home mom, so is alimony available, or how does alimony work?
Sure. No, absolutely. And alimony is depending upon the number of years of the marriage. How long have you been married again?
10 years.
10 years. So yeah, alimony is on the table. And it's just a matter of working through the process and seeing exactly where that might fit. There's a lot of factors that come into play, but it's definitely something we can help you out with.
Okay. So with the process, is there any kind of ballpark that you see if it does take a couple years, how long, or how much you think it might be? Because with being a stay-at-home mom, unfortunately,
Sure.
I don't have the funds, too many funds right now.
Yeah. No, and I give you credit. And I'm sorry it's like that. Unfortunately, sometimes it is a little expensive, and so. But for us to represent you, typically require an agreement and then a retainer deposit of $7,500, which we bill against our hourly rate. I've seen divorces get done for that amount, but depending on how much it costs, sometimes divorces go into six figures, which is crazy, I know, but it's a possibility depending upon how much fighting is going on.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for explaining that. So what would be the next steps then?
So if you wanted to move forward, all we need to get is a representation agreement from you, and then the retainer deposit, and then we can start to work on it immediately.
Okay. I do want to see how I would be able to get the retainer
Sure.
fee. So if I can, get back to you, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, love to help you out. I mean, I know you came into the office, and it's great to see you face to face and everything, but if you live outside the area where it's a little hard to come in, we can send you the representation agreement that you can DocuSign, and we can take invoice payment over the phone or electronically, whatever's most convenient for you.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, it's a pleasure meeting you, and like I said, our intake team will follow up with you and see if you have any questions.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
So, team, we're going to now do a phone consultation. We're going to do this in the same room as Jade here, just so that you can hear the dialogue and everything. But we're going to face each other, or face away from each other, so that we don't have that, and then just basically play it as if it's a phone consultation. So you're here to hear. Also, again, take a look at that checklist, check things off as you go, and we'll go from there. So we'll get started. Hi, this is Travis from the law offices of Travis R. Walker, calling you for a 10 o'clock consult. Is this Jade?
Hi, yes, good morning. How are you today?
Very well, very well. How are you doing today?
Wonderful, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time to reach out to us and see if we can help you out with your legal needs. It's attorney-client conversations, so everything you say is confidential and privileged. And so what do you got going on?
Yes, I'm dealing with a probate matter. My mother passed away
Sorry.
3 years ago. So it's been a process, just trying to figure out everything with her estate. She didn't have any documents, so a will or trust or anything. So we're just kind of been going through the probate process and don't really know what to do.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for your loss, and it's got to be frustrating, not only and upsetting, not only dealing with loss of her, but then having to deal with this situation as well. So yeah, do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Of course.
Okay. So when did your mom pass away?
It was back in was it 2021?
Okay.
So 3 years ago.
Okay. And was she married at the time?
No, she is a widow, or she was a widow.
Okay. And where did she live in the state of Florida? Where did she live? Or
Yes, she did live in Florida in Palm Beach County.
okay. And as far as like assets go, did she have a home or any property or anything along those lines?
Yes, so she has a home as well as a couple of cars, savings accounts. She did have a retirement plan as well. So that's what we're just trying to figure out how to handle all those.
Okay. And then, so was the house only in her name, or how did that work out?
Yes, it was just in her name.
Okay. And again, I'm sorry you're having to deal with this. I've been doing this for 17 years, and unfortunately, it's with a little bit of estate planning, this could have been done, but I wouldn't worry about it, and I just try to get through it as quickly as possible for you, and give you a lot of credit for handling it as well as you have. Did you have any questions for me?
Really just to see how the process should go. We've just been kind of sitting on the house, and I have a brother, so we're just trying to figure out how we can handle it. We are really only the family that she had left, as well as we each have kids. So we just want to know how we can handle her estate.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. And yeah, I know it's got to be very stressful to deal with. Yeah, because I mean, ultimately at this point, I think you have three options. One, you do nothing, but then the house is going to continue to stay in her name, and you're never really going to be able to sell it or deal with it. And it's just going to have to stay like that, unfortunately, and then you'll just never be able to sell it. Option two is you can, handle the probate yourself. I forgot, I meant to ask you, did she have a will, or what was the deal with that?
Unfortunately, no will.
Okay. And so, yeah, we'd have to, I mean, we would work to appoint you as the personal representative and go through that whole process. But, option two is for you to represent yourself and to start the filings and work to be the personal representative and work through the entire process and everything. Or option three, you hire an attorney such as ourselves, and then we would help guide you through it and work on the appointment and try to get you through the probate and get the house, where you'd like to it. You mind if I ask you a few more questions?
Yes, I go right ahead.
Sure. Ultimately, what would you like to see done with the house?
We would like to sell it. So that's since she's actually in Palm Beach County, but I'm up in Tallahassee. So that's why it's a little bit of an issue with the distance between us, and being able to handle it with us being so far away.
Sure, sure. And we actually represent people all across the state. So we got the technology and we've got experience. And I've been doing this for 17 years. And, we definitely can help you out. We've helped people out throughout the state. So we can send you the documents that need to be signed. You may need to have them notarized. We can do that electronically, or you can bring it to somebody locally to have notarized. But other than that, we can handle, basically all of the filings on your behalf.
Okay, great. That's good to know because yeah, we would like to move forward with getting an attorney since we're kind of stuck at this point and haven't been able to handle it these past couple years.
Sure, sure. No, and like I said, I give you a lot of credit for handling it as well as you have and dealing with it and going from there. So I mean, it just kind of give you an idea with regards to our fees. Typically require a representation agreement and then retainer deposit of $3,500, which we bill against our hourly rate.
Okay. So would we be able to use the money from her estate to be able to pay for the retainer or?
I mean, unfortunately, we're not set up that way to do it that way. But I mean, there may be firms that do it, but unfortunately, we require the money up front, and then, ultimately, the personal representative, they can reimburse themselves, for the fees once the estate is closed.
Okay. Okay, great. So yeah, I would like to move forward. So you would just be able to email the representation agreement so I can look that over.
Yep, absolutely. So what'll happen next is our intake department will email you a DocuSign representation agreement. Go ahead and take a look at it. Let us know if you have any questions or concerns, and then also an electronic invoice for payment, or you can make the payment over the phone, and then we can immediately start working and drafting the documents we need to.
Okay, great. I will look forward to the intakes call.
Great. Yeah, well, I'll let them know immediately, and I'll draft some notes for their review, and would love to help you out.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.